When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
It is picked up by the line, coming back right side, 25. Picks up a block at the 30, to the 40.
Drink it in, drink it in. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Rolls to the right, Stafford throws deep, got a man out there, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions, Marvin Jones.
Drink it in, drink it in.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread.
Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What is going on, everybody? We are back here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast for a Wednesday. The Lions, Packers, we're going to get into that. I mean, there may be a rant or two on the show. We got the one and only Grifka on the other end of the line. Grifka, how are you, man?
I would like to go to the tagline, but I don't know, man. A couple of weekends ago, I bought a big bottle of bourbon. I actually had to, tap into that, drinking that, drink some of that, watching that game as opposed to the regular
That drowned out the Kool-Aid this past Sunday?
It kind of, I don't want to say I drank so much it blinded me from watching the game, but it did help alleviate some of the pain from watching that game.
Oh my goodness, Grifka, we're going to get into it. I'm in a remote location today, so if the quality is a little bit different or we do not have the Grifka bell, I may make my own manual bell during the show. But Grifka, often here on the Kool-Aid Cast, we do blow for blow, what play bothered us. We take the game front. I want to start the show a little different today, and that's simply this. Grifka, I've had it. I really have. We're at week 2. This game, whether it's, just 2 losses, everybody thought we were going to lose to Green Bay, whatever the case may be. There was a lot of things about this game that had me on Twitter asking questions, being non-positive Oakery here on the Kool-Aid Cast, having me wondering what the hell we're doing on defense, had me just asking, there's so many things in this game that didn't make sense to me and that just infuriated me. But normally I'd come on here and say, we started out good, or, we're still down Kenny Galladay, or this, that, and the other. Grifka, you know what pissed me off the most? You know what just set me off? That this team might not have it, might not be as good as I thought at certain positions, and that the coaching may be an issue. You want to know what it was?
I am dying to know, because you've been in their corner for a while, so I'm wondering I'm kind of really wondering what the straw that broke the camel's back was.
Grifka, if you were on Twitter at GrifkaDKC, you would know, because the thing that set me off on Sunday at Derek Oakery on Twitter was the absolute non-effort by the Detroit Lions. First and foremost, Jamie Collins. This guy's out there waltzing around going about 1/4 speed on I don't know what he's doing. If you get a chance, if you didn't notice it on Sunday, people listening, Grifka, the waffle maker, go back and watch. This guy, there was at least 3 to 4 times where a guy came in motion or came in his area. I swear he was going about 30% of as fast as this guy could go. It looked like no effort. Then the pass was caught on him. He continued to go in just slow motion. I mean, Jeff Okudah looks like he's in quicksand. Other guy, Grifka, tell me if you watch other Lions games or any other NFL games, let's put it that way, where a guy will be hit, 7-6 yards behind a first down line, yet continue to rumble and bumble through the whole defense and pick up a first down. I feel like I saw that multiple times, which all comes down to effort and tackling. That just set me off the handle, because I felt like not only were they not trying, but after that quick start to just give it away again, to act like I just saw no fight in this team from top to bottom, and that really set me off.
There were certain things like you had mentioned, I saw the Jamie Collins play. Like, I kind of mentioned the same things. Me and a couple friends were texting back and forth, and we kind of said the same things. Like, is he hurt? Is he injured? Something wrong with the hamstring or something? Doesn't seem to be moving too well. There were a couple of things. Just everybody's gonna be like, oh, they played sloppy. Well, Harris had some bad penalties. Jared Davis. I don't know why he continually just run at the center, so he couldn't get off that block. He did that a number of times.
Grifka, let me stop you right there, because this is normally the point in the show where I come in and say, come on, Grifka, don't get on Jared Davis. Grifka, go ahead and get on Jared Davis. There was multiple times, again, he's caught in the wrong gap. He was shooting up there, getting blown up by offensive linemen. Inexcusable. Again, I try to tell you that I come on the show and I see good plays. I try to pump them up and be positive. I'm not oblivious to some of the bad plays, and I saw bad plays from Jared Davis, my boy Will Harris. Grifka, I don't know if Will Harris can play football. Like, I've been in this guy's corner. I say he's athletic. He's going to come into his own. He's a great leader. This guy, week after week after week, he's 2 steps behind in coverage. He's making penalties. I mean, questionable or otherwise. What is he doing on the Aaron Jones run play? It felt like he was holding, like, on the outside, like somebody was threatening his outside shoulder, when Aaron Jones was just simply running right past him down the middle of the football field. Like, and this one's going to blow your mind, Grifka, if I haven't already, which I'm sure I have, and the people listening are going, what is this? Where'd the positive Oakry go? I'm still going to drink the Detroit Koolaid. I still love the Detroit Lions, but there's all these people backing up this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, Grifsky. His name's Tracy Walker, the guy that we say could be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be a breakout star. People are like, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing 30, 40% of the snaps? Are you guys seeing some of the plays from Tracy Walker? He's getting roasted and toasted by guys like, I don't know, Jimmy Graham, some bumsky Rudy Poo for Green Bay I've never heard of that's eating him up in the red zone, scoring a touchdown. Tracy Walker continues to, be slow, miss plays, always be the guy that, I almost had that one. If I almost got my long go-go gadget arms on it. Well, you didn't, and I'm getting sick of it. So go out and make plays, and as Grifko often says, stop making tackles 8, 12, 15 yards down the football field and go make an actual play. Like, I don't know, a turnover for once? I mean, have we turned the football over at all this year? This is just unbelievable. Like, you can tell, like, there's not much for me to be excited about. And guys that I love and, like, try to support, I'm not letting them get away with horrible play again week after week. I've just seen enough.
The one play that really got me, not to bring up Jamie Collins again, but it's the one sack that Jamie Collins had. And they were down by 10, and technically it did take Green Bay out of field goal range, and they forced him to punt. But that was the one where he breaks in, he gets a sack, and then he kind of does this somersault, like, celebration. And I'm like, you guys are down by 10. Cut it out.
Yeah, that's a good, I almost figured you'd bring that up. He started rubbing his belly and this, that, and the other. And it's like, there was another play like that. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a special teams hit late in the game where we're getting roasted by 3 touchdowns or whatever. And they light someone up on special teams and they're going nuts. I'm like, do you guys know what the score is? Do you know how you've played from, I don't know, the second drive on in this game? The Detroit Lions come out, and we march right down the field and score a touchdown, running the football, doing anything we want on offense. Then I think we stiffened up and held the Packers to 3. And then we come back and get another touchdown. Wasn't it 14-3 early in this ball game? Like, how can we continue to get up to leads, give them away, and play such uninspired football the rest of the game? Like, I don't understand. Like, my whole thing was, giving these leads away are the same thing as that year we ripped off all those comebacks, but it's not. It's falling apart late in games. It's stupid penalties. It's killing yourself before the half. It's all these mistakes, and, like, I don't know. I've just seen it too many times now where I'm not giving up on the team. I'm ranting and raving today, but it's because I'm kind of sick of seeing poor play across the board, especially from guys that I come on here week after week and tell you I have expectations for. I put a big list out on Twitter of these expectation guys that are way below my expectations, and it's not once or twice. It's multiple times going into last year as well, and I just feel like I can't give them that free pass continually, and it just hit me where I had enough. Why are we giving away these leads, and why did we flip from killing the Packers to falling apart late in the second quarter to the end of the game and getting blown out?
I mean, the biggest thing was, we mentioned it, in the preview that they had to get a pass rush, and they didn't really do that. Except the Jamie Collins' awesome sack where he did the somersault and rubbed his belly and acted like he did something special, considering he didn't show up the rest of the game. At one point, it just when they went down, yeah, you're right. Lions were up 14-3, and Green Bay came back and scored a touchdown, and they were down 14-10. At that point, it's stuff you make fun of me for, but I'm just like, they can't stop them, is what I thought to myself at that point. I'm like, they just can't stop them, and they're just, I don't know what it is with that defense. I mean, Matt Pat's supposed to have his players in there, guys that know what's happening. I think afterwards I was reading an article, I think it was actually Eric Schlitt's article, to hype Eric Schlitt a little bit. I think it was him. He mentioned that Trey Flowers didn't even register anything. So technically he doesn't show up on the stat sheet at all, doing nothing. And he played the whole game. I mean, that's supposed to be your best defender, and he didn't do anything. Zero pressures, nothing to even show that he stepped on the field. And he's getting paid. I mean, that's Matt Pat's guy, and he can't show up against supposed to be the vaunted, hated Packers. So I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if they're just kind of tired of his crap, or if it's just, I don't know. Maybe they see the handwriting on the wall that this may be it. And I was reading stuff afterwards that guys on the team are still in Matt Pat's corner, and they can believe they can turn it around. And from what you see, it's just when? Where? I don't see it, especially on this defense. And I know they were missing Coleman, and they were missing, who is it? God, the other defensive back. His name escapes me right now.
True Font.
Yeah, True Font. And you mentioned Okuda looked like he was running quicksand. I'm going to give that guy just a little bit of slack because it was his first game. No preseason action or anything like that. And they matched him up. It's hey, you go against their best wide receiver. I mean, that's just come on, man, really? That's not going to happen at all. I mean, I don't know what the heck they were thinking there, but still, though, where's this pass rush? Where's Danny Shelton been playing? And where's the linebacker? Once again, Christian Jones, he was out on the field, but he looked like one of those electronic football players that just kind of spins in a circle and doesn't do anything. That I don't know. It's just that I was frustrated like yourself, and at one point, honestly, in the fourth quarter, I got tired of watching the game and I just turned it off. I'm I had to. I'm just this is just a waste. And like you said, uninspired. I know people are blaming on Stafford for his one pick six that he had right there and his bad sack that he took on the goal line. And even I was at that point going, you got to get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. And he gets sacked. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if he seems gun shy again, like a couple years ago, how we were talking about that. And I don't think he has a whole lot of trust in his offensive line, especially the one side. I think he's okay with the left side. I mean, Obushi had some stupid stuff, but I don't know. Just
let me get back in here. First of all, the people are used to you every week saying similar things to these when everything doesn't go perfect. The crazy part about the show here on a Wednesday is that I'm saying it because I pour out that Detroit Kool-Aid. I have had many talks with you off the air about this being the Detroit Koolaid Cast, and we don't want to hear all the same old Lions garbage. You can go find that from the beat writers or from almost any other outlet. But we're doing a show today like this because, like I said, I hit a wall. And the reason I hit a wall not only was the effort, but was something you just hit on. As I'm watching this game, it's only week 2. It's a loss to the Packers in Lambeau and a really close loss to the Giants or the Bears. I'm sorry. But there was something about it that just rung totally different as I watched it, especially to come out strong again and then just fall apart, look uninspired. That's what has me so hot today. And also because this has been consistent now. One thing you'll hear me say is you got to project forward. You got to try to predict what's going to happen. Nobody cares if you're going to come on here and rag about, well, this guy didn't play good when he missed a play. Everybody knows that. Everybody saw that. But why I'm on here going crazy today and being real frustrated with this team is because you're seeing Will Harris get beat like a dusty rug week after week after week. There's only so many times I come on here and say, oh man, Will Harris is going to come around. Will Harris is going to get it together. Halfway through this football game, especially when he just let Aaron Jones run right up the middle and totally didn't even attack the football to try to make a play, I said, I'm done with this guy until he shows me he can do something out there. I mean, like I said, we've heard this from you before. The reason it's crazy is because I've reached this point where until he starts showing me that certain guys can play, I'm not going to come on here and tout Tracy Walker anymore until he starts getting his hands on footballs, until he starts D'ing people up in the red zone. It's just, and I guess the point I wanted to get back to with you is like when I was watching this game, probably mid-game, even third quarter, that's when I had reached the point that not only are we not going to come back, we better be lucky to not go down 3-4 scores, because that would be an absolute abomination. Yet it was still horrible. I had friends writing me, I turned it off, I'm done. And I said, I don't blame you. I'm not the guy that quits on this team. I'm not the guy that walks out of the room. But at this point, I was that guy. I was sitting there like, well, what is this? This isn't even football. And the reason why is coming back to some of the things that you harp on or that I try to say isn't the truth. And I'm starting to say it might be the truth. Like, we got low effort. We got slow linebackers. As you said, I'm not too carried away. I'd be surprised if Trey Flowers didn't have a pressure. Now, that may be coming from PFF and some of these other groups that I defend as well. But I think I remember him sort of being disrupted. But, yeah, he hasn't been dynamic enough for what they pay him. And I'm trying to figure out, where is it going to come from? Is there a switch that they can flip? Because I kind of sat there on Sunday and said, there's no switch with this team. There's no juice. There's no change. I mean, if Kenny Galladay comes back and they try to just outscore people and get DeAndre Swift involved more than like 8 to 10 touches a game, maybe you could outscore people. But I don't see them stopping anyone anytime soon. And that's very disconcerting on so many levels.
One thing I wanted to ask you after the first game, I mean, I realized it was a loss, but, like you said, Adrian Peterson, sorry, can't do it as good as you. I mean, he had a really good game. Like last game, I think he had, 6 or 7 carries? I can't remember, for like 41 yards, 42 yards. And I realized that there was a point where they obviously had to pass the ball and they couldn't feature him, use them. But it seemed like they used carry on a lot more in this game. And then still, the guy had the hot hand in the first one, put up all the stats, and you only give him the ball like 6 or 7 times in the second game. I mean, like, what are you doing there? I mean, I don't get it. One of the things that was mentioned before is listening to pregame, and I believe it was on your Believe in Lions podcast, you guys talked about how they kind of had to control the clock a little more, to try to keep that offense off the field, simply because the Lions were down defensive backs. So it didn't seem like, and I got it. They went down, and they had to pass the ball, but still, Peterson had a huge first game. Why wouldn't you use a guy who, probably hates the Packers as much as we do, and you're going to go, okay, we're going to, we got to spread out your carries. We used you too much. We're going to save you for the whole season, and you give the guy 6, 7 carries, I mean, for 41 yards. I mean, granted, 15 or 20 of that was the one where he busted around the end on the right side early in the game. But still, why didn't you feature that guy more? That's a big question to me.
Well, I mean, as much, I think I came on last week, whatever it was, and did a big diatribe about how much I like Darrell Bevell, and that still is the case. I mean, but there's something with the Lions where we like to not only overly spread the ball around, it's becoming a big issue, in my opinion, about just babying these rookies and bringing them along slow or acting like, oh, these guys, we don't want to put too much on them. Like, Jeff Okudah should, I don't care. You're saying you're giving him a pass and, oh, he's pulling the bunt. Like, there's lots of other guys. I think somebody put out a stat or somebody had mentioned on a show that, like, the last corners that went in the top 5, all their first games, they did something incredible, whether it was return a punt for a touchdown, have a pick, make a game-changing play, whatever it may be. So to just act like we thought, oh, this guy will get roasted and toasted his first game, we got to get out of that mindset. Secondly, they, again, just bringing along these guys so slow and spreading the ball out. Like Hawkinson was balling in the beginning, doesn't see the football. You're talking about Adrian Peterson having a great game 1, not seeing the football. why? You know, what would we have to? Are we obligated to get Carry on 10, 15 touches in game 2 just to keep him happy? And then game 3, we'll get Swift involved. Then we'll come back to AP. There's just an issue with that because there's something to be said with getting the ball to the hot hand and milking the guys that are playing good football for you. And instead, we like overthink it almost. And okay, Hawkinson's great, so let's go to everybody but Hawkinson, and they'll never expect it. Well, they do expect it because they're still stopping you with those other players because they're not as talented as Hawkinson, Swift. Griffith, I'm writing my note right here. I'm trying to come up with the players that I can really hang my hat on now that I've seen a couple games again of this team. And we just don't have enough dynamic playmakers. And the guys I thought were middle of the road or rising are guys that I'm sitting on here ranting today on the show about that are just haven't reached that next level, haven't been as good as I'd hoped, and maybe aren't guys you can hang your hat on for the future. So I don't even know where we go with this show, Griff. I don't know if we're at 20 some minutes or whatever, but I'm at the point that I hate not being Detroit Koolaid Cast this week. I hate not giving people a bunch of positive things to hang their hat on. But until the Detroit Lions show up and man up and play some football and actually hit somebody in the mouth, I don't know, actually try and then, you know, get some of their playmakers back so we can see what this team looks like moderately healthy. I have no faith that we're going to beat teams anytime soon. And until this defense stops anyone, I just think it's an embarrassment to watch on defense. And I hate saying that, but it's the absolute truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating, and I understand. Like I said, I admitted it. I turned the game off probably first couple minutes into the fourth quarter. It's like I was just done with it. I'm like, whatever, you know. It's like it was a nice day out. I mean, it's just like I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going for a walk, you know. Just like that's what I did. I mean, I went and just I don't say cooled off and relaxed, but that's what I did. I couldn't even stand watching anymore. And yeah, just the utter frustration level of these guys. And everybody can say, well, they didn't have any preseason games. Well, neither did anybody else. And, you know, everybody, well, the injuries. Well, you know, we see guys falling all over the place, you know, getting injured. And I realized, they were missing their two best defensive backs. I don't even know if they would have had Trufant Coleman, if it would have been that much of a difference. Still, I mean, I'm dumbfounded. And I realize Matt Patricia, Corey, Unlean, those guys have coached a lot of football, but the mindset that their defensive backs need to defend a lot longer to help their pass rush, and that's their mindset. I mean, I think that's terribly flawed, you know, with this. And it's just, even if they had their studs back there, it's terribly flawed. Even if Deion Sanders and your corners were Deion Sanders and Charles Woodson, you know, you're going to ask those guys, hey, can you guys like hang on to these guys for like 7-8 seconds while we wait for, you know, some cardboard cutouts and a garbage can to get to the quarterback? You know, it's like even they would look, you know, completely average. So I don't know why they stick by that or what kind of, and I understand Unlean was a defensive backs coach and he probably prides his, you know, how good his guys can be. But I think that is a terribly flawed mindset with this team, realizing there's nobody quick enough, you know, to like, you know, bust out around the end. They don't have Reggie White. They don't have Lawrence Taylor. They don't have Kevin Green. They don't have Deacon Jones. I mean, yeah, all those guys are old and dead, but still, you know, they don't have anybody like that. Nobody. I mean, they didn't want Ngakoue, which, yeah, I realize Minnesota got crushed again this week, but Ngakoue at least had a sack for Minnesota. I mean, still, they have zero people like that. And to say, like, our defensive backs need to play better to help our pass rush, you're asking the guys the farthest away from the football to do the most damage to help the guys that are the closest to the ball that should be making the plays first, the guys you depend on first. That's got to be the dumbest mindset I've ever heard. And that's, you know, such a flaw in coaching. You know, it's just dumb. And I'm sure you heard that same thing that Corey Unlin said. And I believe Matt Patricia believes the same thing because they focused zero on pass rush.
Oh, Griff, there's so much to take there, and a rarity on the show again this week. I gotta agree with you, which makes me upset. But let me go to my Twitter. We like to get our cheap plugs in for our Twitter. Where can they find you on Twitter, Grifka, if you'd ever actually post something of substance?
Sure, I'm at Grifka DKC. Once again, that's at GRIFKA DKC.
Well, Grifka, I'm at Derek Okrie, DEREK OKRIE, and check out this first quarter tweet, and then I'll give you my fourth quarter. So my first quarter takes, I put Awesome to see Carry-On getting going. Hawk run after the catch, and excitement needs to continue. The smug number 12 just flipping inaccurate passes trying to be cool is great. JD with a big hit. That was big time. TD instead of a field goal was huge. Let's go. That's my first quarter takes, Griffith. That's a Detroit Koolaid drink it in take because they were actually playing good football. Let me scroll to my fourth quarter takes and then a couple tweets I had after that, which again, I know you're on top of it, Grifka, but me and you have been known to fight on Twitter because you usually bring this type of negativity. Where's my fourth quarter takes? Maybe I didn't even get to the fourth quarter. Here's where I was at in the third quarter, though. Third quarter, Harris just looked pathetic on that Long Jones touchdown. Defense is very weak. Stafford can't throw that horrible pick on his own end line. Need to be more aggressive on both sides of the ball. Swift will be a major weapon when he's used more. Like, that's just a total 360, 180, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and then I got tweets like this, Grifka, that everybody seemed to like, and I hated even posting it, but I just had no choice. I put no effort, started decent on the first drive or two, and then went downhill from there. I have no answers. I hate to be negative, but I see nothing positive to build on right now. No dynamic players on D, poor tackling, horrible scheme, etc. I saw no heart today from the Detroit Lions. Like, does that sound like me at all, Grifka? Or does that sound like a guy that's watching a football game going, I can't even defend this right now. This is indefensible football. There's nothing to hang my hat on. There's a bunch of guys out there. Like, I can't even go into the Arizona game, which we'll talk about on Friday, Grifka, and give you many things that I think they can do better or that are going to change. I feel like it's just, I have no answers right now. Do you have any answers for me? You got any positivity for me on this Wednesday show? Because I just am struggling to find any answers or anything to hang on to right now. And it's only week 2.
Yeah, the positivity. I mean, I don't. No, this goes just a terrible.
You're not quite for sure. Okay.
I'm not quite sure on that. But I do have to agree. I do agree with your fourth quarter takes, though. And heck, I agreed with your first quarter take. I'm like, but it's just it's just a very frustrating game, and I know it's like people are like, he should, Patricia and Quinn should be fired now, and I'm like, okay, it's game 2, that's not going to happen, but a lot of things are piling up. I mean, was that 11 straight losses? And I realized last year they had a lot of injuries. And it's just, but still, I don't know. I mean, their next 2 games, and I know even in a couple weeks we're going to talk about Drew Brees and the Saints, and even Brees kind of looked a little pedestrian. But still, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Coleman's not coming back. Trufant, I guess he might be able to come back. I mean, it's just,
if you don't have any strong takes, give me the mic back, because nobody wants to hear you don't know. We want to hear something rant or everybody's frustrated right now. But is Drew Brees a little long in the tooth, Griff? Because is that what you're getting to?
Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth and soft in the shoulder right now.
All right, well, give me back the microphone, because I got to ask you this. I got 2 more things and we end this show. First of all, I get a little scratch pad here. Again, I'm not in the Oak Ridge studios, but I literally just started trying to write down players that I now, based on what I've seen in, again, 2 games, and guys that I'm carrying over that I've sort of been promoting or hope are good, that I can actually build around as a football team, or that I've seen some things that are just upper echelon or good quality. These are the only names I can come up with, Griff, off the top of my head here. Swift, Hockenson, Galladay, Matt Stafford, and Jeff Okudah. There's many names off that list, Grifka, that you hear me talk about all the time on this show. And that'd be names like Tracy Walker, Will Harris, Tavai, Jared Davis, A.O., Shelton, Flowers, both Okwaras, and Deshaun Hand as well. Like, I got none of those guys on my list anymore until they go out and actually do something, because, I mean, I just can't. Wow, Jared Davis made 1 hit. Great. Like, I haven't seen any of these DBs get their hand on the football. I haven't seen anybody cause any fumbles. I haven't seen, just 1 sack in 2 games. I mean, I just don't know anymore. I really don't. So are there any names I missed that are actually like football players that that we can build on and that we can actually be excited about, because I feel like all the other guys are now in if we're doing the Grifka scale of sucks or good, or are those your two categories? Do you have a third category now?
Gosh, I can't remember which one I added. That's how pathetic it was.
I think it was sucks, great, or the middle category was not quite for sure.
Something like that.
So I got all these guys I've been touting, Grifka. They're in the I'm not quite for sure category, leaning towards the he's not that great category, to be honest, at this point. So I just hit a point. So let's kind of close it up on this, because I can't do much more Grifka negativity. I got to get to our Friday show where I'm going to try to find some Detroit Koolaid. But I agree with your point. Like, everybody's calling for Matt Patricia, get him out. Like, you have to be tactful, because just firing somebody to fire without a plan doesn't make a ton of sense. But like I said, if he comes out and gets bombed in Arizona, gets bombed against the Saints, has a bye, like, I don't know what you're playing for at that point, and I don't know how he's going to instantly start stopping people unless all these guys I mentioned, which is a half a baker's dozen plus, are all going to flip a switch and play good football all at the same time. And I just feel like that's going to be hard. So how do we get this righted? Can it get righted? Like, could I go on this rant and the next week we find a way to just beat up the Cardinals, and I'm sitting here going, okay, good. I'm back to Detroit Kool-Aid. I saw stuff from all the guys I mentioned that haven't been playing good, or am I just in for another just I can't do this anymore, you know?
My favorite thing, now that we're kind of talking about it, my favorite thing is when watching the halftime, the sideline reporter always talks to the coaches, and they said how they talked to Matt LaFleur, and they said the defense really got a tongue lashing the way they were playing. They were going to play better. And Green Bay's defense looked a lot better in the second half. And then it's like, we talked to Matt Patricia. What he said is, like, he was proud of his guys, the way they played. And I, took that, and I'm just like, proud of your guys? This isn't high school, man. I mean, these guys are pros. They're getting a paycheck when they show up at the pay window. But don't be proud of them. I'm proud of you guys. Nice job. We're all going out to Dairy Queen for blizzards after the game. No, man. I was like, what is that? I'm proud of my guys. Congratulations. You're proud of them. Proud of, a 5-year-old when he kicks a goal in a soccer game. It's like, nice job, guys. Like, annoying. It's like, that's all the coach that we have. Whatever.
Hey, here's ding, ding, ding on all those Grifka bells that were in there. But here's my comeback on that. When you really look at this game, this is the other reason I'm so livid today, because if you really turn back on that tape, I think it's 17-14 at half. Like, we gave up a horrible score to late because of, 2 15-yard penalties by Will Harris. One questionable with his shoulder, another one that was just like, come on, man, actually use fundamentals and tackle. So, in that first half, I could see where he's thinking. I even think I put on one of my second quarter tweets, hey, we should be feeling good as Lions fans going into the half. I feel like right after the half is where not only everything unraveled, but where I just watched the game and said, hey, even when we weren't down a ton of points, there was no effort. There was no major trying to win this football game. It was going through motions. It was a woe is me. It was just really tough to watch for me. And it just jumped off the tape of that. There was one team that was kind of putting it to us and then put it in second or third gear. And then there was the Lions that were just they weren't even trying to rev it up. Matt Stafford looked like he could almost care less about that pick in his own end. Sloppy play across the board, drops, just the defense being Swiss cheese. It's all those things adding up, but it all comes back to me to effort, want to. And people say, oh, don't question the players' effort. They're going out there and doing their best. Yeah, that's my answer most every week, except for this past week where I felt like if you go back and watch it, there's obvious examples of the Jamie Collinses of the world. Like you say, all of our defensive linemen just stuck to the offensive linemen like glue. I mean, like I say, Will Harris, why is he on the football field when he hasn't made any plays? I mean, he had one play at the end of the year last year against Green Bay that was good. And other than that, every time he's either getting roasted or he's just 10 steps behind or making a tackle 20 yards down the field. What are we hanging our hat on at this point? Because from third quarter on, I couldn't find much of anything to hang my hat on and say yeah, we're going to get beat, but or hey man, that guy really is out there just playing a full bore and wants this game. I felt like it was a lot of the, gosh, I don't even know how to sum it up other than like where I'm at with Matt Patricia. This was the first time, Grifka, second game of the year, getting beat by 14 points at that point, whatever it was in Green Bay. I was still sitting there going like, okay, until Matt Patricia shows me that he can stop someone, Corey Unling, whoever you want to say, that whole staff, until they not only show me they can stop someone, but they do something that's, I don't know, productive, from first quarter to fourth quarter. I didn't necessarily say I'm done with them, but I'm not holding up the flag for this regime anymore until they show me again that, yeah, we got some grit. Yep, we can scheme out a victory like he did, a year and a half ago when we were actually playing good D and being in ball games thanks to that. Like, until that happens, I just am fine with if they move on from this guy, if they get rid of Bob Quinn. Like, I've reached that point, Grifka, and that's hard for me to say because I love this football team and I still think some of these guys can prove me wrong, but I've kind of reached the Grifka point of like, until you go out and continually show me a few plays that I can again get optimistic, I can't continue to just be optimistic when you're getting beat, roasted, not trying, and just losing leads again and again and again. I can't do it.
Yep, I agree with you. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I got that Grifkism after I've talked for about 10 to 12 minutes straight. I know I've dominated the show. I know you people out there are disappointed in me because I'm the Detroit Kool-Aid drinker. I bring you that optimism. I want this team to do well. I really, really do. But it's only game 2. There's a lot more football to play. But I'm at the show me stage. You got to flip this defense. Probably it's got to flip about 50 to 75% to get me back to where, okay, yeah, maybe they can do something. Maybe these players are the right guys, because right now I don't see much to hang my hat on. I don't see effort. I didn't see heart. I don't see playmakers. I don't see dynamic football players like other football teams have. I see those marginal middle of the road guys, which you always asked me, is that what we have? And I thought, nope. Tavai is going to come along. Tracy Walker, Will Harris will get better. All of this will come together here in year 3 for Matt Patricia. And by week 2 here, I'm sitting here saying, I don't know how you're going to stop the Cardinals, the Saints, some of the other good teams on the schedule, but they need to figure out a way, and they need to figure out it quick, because Sunday was just atrocious. I don't blame anybody for turning it off, for just being disgusted by what they saw. And even if you lost that football game, but lost it in a different fashion, you wouldn't hear me coming on here ranting and raving about this kind of stuff. But go back and rewatch if you're thinking I'm crazy, or you think that, oh, this team tried real hard and they just came up short, or they were outmatched. Yeah, they were outmatched on a lot of levels, but I think it was more based on scheme, effort, heart, determination, more so than skill level. But there are guys that need to come along, and we'll see if they do it, Grifka. We'll talk about it Friday here on the show. We're going to talk Lions, Cardinals. I promise you people, I'm going to try to pour out a big glass of Detroit Kool-Aid. I'm going to try to get myself together. But I'm also going to be a little more skeptical until I see this team come and just beat the hell out of Mighty Mouse and hold down some of their skilled players and find a way to be an explosive offense. Because we're sitting here going, oh, this offense could be special. I've seen glimpses, but I haven't seen anything special from these guys. And we're going on year 12 with Matt Stafford. So, Grifka, the Cardinals game is going to be a big test. That next week against the Saints going to be a big test. You better show something before we get to that bye week, because if I can only come up with 5 or 6 players on your starting roster that are guys that I would hang on to if I was able to just broom closet it right now, that's not good. There's probably, 6 to 8 that are in the I'm not quite for sure category that need to step the hell up. They know who they are. I wrote them down on Twitter. I've called them out here on this show. Grifka, I'm out of breath. I really can't rant anymore, and I'm almost ashamed I had to do this today, but I had enough. I told the people they were going to get a rant from me. They were going to get explosive, almost Grifka-esque negativity based on the way this football team played, and that's what I got for you. So, I normally would throw it to you, but I think we just need to close up this show. So, Grifka, unless you totally disagree with me on everything I've said, unless you think this team is just perfect on every level, unless you're just fired up by what you saw on Sunday, I just got one more question for you. Grifka, do you have anything else? for the people.
Nope.
Everybody, we'll see you Friday. I'm going to pour out a Honolulu Blue glass of Kool-Aid. I'm going to get myself together. You know who needs to get themselves together? Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, Matt Stafford, Adrian Peterson's been good. Let's go to the defense side of the ball. Hey, Trey Flowers, to wake up. Let's get some pressures. Tracy Walker, show me something, brother. I haven't seen it from you. I hate to quit on you, but you haven't done a damn thing that's excited me this year. Okuda, let's get the Nike Air Cements off your feet, and let's go. Everybody, we'll be back Friday talking Cardinals. We should still be able to beat the piss out of them, or we might get trounced. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll talk all about it. We'll catch you Friday right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.